As the years have gone by, employment offered by employers has vastly shifted. In recent years, a phenomenon known as a gig economy has emerged. The gig economy is a system where companies tend to offer temporary employment, often to independent contractors and freelancers. Instead of benefits and a stable work schedule, it is often difficult for employees in the gig economy to get promoted or have any type of career development. A gig could be defined as a one-off job, such as creating a blog post for a startup to help expand their reach, or it could also be writing code for anyone who wants to develop their own website, either for themselves or for their business. Supporters of the gig economy will say that it enables workers to have greater flexibility in their work, and has allowed for people to start a plethora of side hustles. While those who are opposed say that it is a cost-cutting tool used by large corporations to exploit their workers and help their bottom line. More of the pros and cons of the gig economy will be explored later. Now that we have an idea of what the gig economy is, let's discuss some of the most common types of jobs available for workers in this economy. Workers in the gig economy can work for large corporations such as Uber or Lyft. Fiverr, a website dedicated to offering people a wide range of services, is home to an endless number of freelancers ready to write a song for you, create your own YouTube introduction, or even draw you your own self-portrait. Jobs in the gig economy are not limited to service. It is also quite prevalent in academia. Many universities and colleges globally will use temporary instructors or professors as opposed to offering tenure or full-time employment. These instructors typically work on a temporary year-to-year basis with limited job security. Although many gigs can be done online, these types of jobs are typically available in large cities where there is a high enough population for individuals to be willing to take on these jobs in the first place. Considering that large cities typically have a higher cost of living, this can make it very difficult to make a living in the gig economy, as your income will typically depend on how many hours of work you put into your job, increasing pressure on people to work as many hours as possible to maximize their income, causing potential burnout. Now that we understand a little bit of what the gig economy is and some jobs offered in it, let's really look and do a deep dive into why it has really begun to take form and shape and rise in society. Today, many individuals are seeking flexibility in the way that they work, with a classic 9-to-5 work schedule being viewed as limiting to your personal life or exhausting by some. Individuals can freelance or work as long as they please without necessarily being tied to a fixed schedule. Notably, this is something that interests the younger generation a lot more. Interest in the gig economy has also spiked during tough economic times. Notably, in the 2007 and 2008 financial crisis, many businesses suffered, which caused them to fire their employees, and these employees were left on their own to find a new source of income. We can see similar trends during the ongoing coronavirus pandemic. In 2017, it is estimated that 55 million Americans were part of the gig economy, which represents roughly 36% of the workforce. A CNBC report claims that in February of 2020, the number of gig workers increased by 15% relative to 2010, representing about 6 million additional workers. Also, the rise of the internet and greater access to computers has allowed individuals more freedom to choose the type of work that they want to do. Many of the prominent freelance websites have actually been created in the 2010s, including Fiverr in 2010, as well as Upwork in 2015. Finally, large companies have also begun to use the gig economy to their benefit. Notably, Uber does not recognize their drivers as employees. They're actually viewed as independent contractors. Although a benefit to this term can be that drivers have the flexibility to choose when and how long they work, it mostly hurts them. Uber and Lyft can bypass offering their drivers things such as health insurance, unemployment insurance, and other benefits. According to the Economy Policy Institute, a nonprofit based in Washington, D.C., Uber drivers can make upwards of $25 per hour. However, Uber takes approximately one-third of all passenger fares, and once you factor in gas, maintenance, and other vehicle-related expenses, the net pay is only around $11. Although this is higher than the average US minimum wage of $7.25 per hour, some states such as New York have a minimum wage of around $13, while California sits at $14. Considering these two states have some of the highest number of Uber drivers, a job in the gig economy with Uber or Lyft doesn't look too attractive. Also, considering an average home in any of these states is around $700K, this income does not go too far whatsoever. Now let's talk a little bit more about the pros and cons of the gig economy that it has on workers. Proponents of the gig economy will say that it gives workers greater flexibility in hours that they can work. It also allows people to take on multiple jobs at once, work from home or from the comfort of their own desk, and potentially build themselves a reputation if they become a highly reviewed freelancer on Fiverr, for example. The gig economy also allows people to have a side or additional income. You could be working at home at your 9-to-5 virtual office job and then spend a few hours writing blog posts for some content creators, offering even those with a fixed working schedule some new options to increase their income and earning potential. It can also be advantageous to large corporations who want to increase their own bottom line. However, this does not consider the human impact that these actions will inevitably have on their workers. However, there are also many associated cons with jobs offered in the gig economy. Firstly, people have unpredictable schedules. There's usually no clear routine with jobs offered in the gig economy, and while that may work for some, it creates a sense of instability for others. Without routine, individual sleep patterns worsen, and a sense of separation between personal life and work fails to exist, and the lines ultimately get blurred. Not to mention, employees don't have access to the aforementioned benefits, including health insurance, unemployment insurance, among other benefits. Additionally, there's often a lack of career development and advancement opportunities for individuals participating in the gig economy. Investments are not necessarily made in individuals from a skill development standpoint, and a sense of loyalty does not exist between employee or independent contractor and employer, as these workers work endlessly trying to make ends meet. The gig economy is without a doubt here to stay. If trends seen during the coronavirus pandemic are any indicator, people want to have the flexibility to work in the ways that they want to work, and do not necessarily always want to be tied to a single workplace. The gig economy in the US has grown 33% in 2020, and by 2027, according to Forbes, 50% of the working population will be engaged with it in some way or another. For those most vulnerable, it will ultimately be up to lawmakers to protect the best interests of workers, and whether that's relabeling workers from independent contractors to employees, offering all workers health benefits irrespective of their employment status, or some other measure such as universal basic income, is yet to be seen. The government, along with corporations, must ultimately work together to find a solution that works for all, and in the end, always remember the human impact of the actions that they choose to take.